Good morning, you beautiful people. Got coffee with me because we're going to need it today. It's going to be an awful long day, isn't it, in the world of Manchester City Football Club. I'm actually in London right now. I'm not at the game tonight, but I'm down doing some filming for the BBC ahead of the FA Cup final. And my view, I'm literally sat in the Premier Inn opposite Wembley. I can see it. I can sense Wembley. We're that close. But that is still a week and a half away, and so much can happen in the life of a football fan. Quick interjection, I forgot to mention that my watch long is on Tifo tonight. Come and join me over there, building a new community of Manchester City fans where we're testing out new features on this new watch along streaming platform. It's great fun. I really enjoy it. It's laid back. You can chat to me on video calls as well. Use all the new features of like threads and all the emojis and the GIFs and all that kind of stuff. Get involved and give it a go. Link in description. See you there. Referral code Stephen. Back to the video. Tonight, well, it's fitting that I'm sat outside Wembley because it's another cup final, isn't it? It really is. Spurs away. As Guardiola said in his preview, you know, that was the exact words. He said, tomorrow we can lose, draw, and lose the Premier League. It can happen. Absolutely. He said it's basically a final, like a Champions League semi-final or whatever. It's that important. They know entirely what is on the line. And it is that important. It really is. Now, Manchester City, of course, if we win, that will put us back on the top of the table. The destiny will be in our own hands. We could talk about a draw potential if you want to leave it for a shootout on the last day of the season, but that would never be a good idea. A draw would put us on 86 points, level, of course, with Arsenal, but the goal difference, they would have 3 better than us. We'd have to win about 9-0. Even then, Arsenal could win 4 or 5-0. That would not be enough. That's the thing. We have to consider. So it's got to be a win tomorrow, basically. And it's funny because I'm sat here now on days like this, once again with a view I've got of Wembley over there. I'm feeling a little bit like sort of reflective about how far Manchester City have come and how this is sort of normal for us in a good way. It's not boring. Journalists, it's not boring in the slightest. I woke up this morning feeling like, oh, this is quite a big day, isn't it? To be blessed enough to have days like this regularly, where you're feeling something as a fan, where you feel like everything could be just tumbled down in a second. Well, I would rather feel that fear than feel nothing at all. I feel alive this morning, you know, and it is thinking about what this Manchester City side could do because it is a final, and to have as many finals or as big games as Man City has, it's an honour. I don't know about you, but I'll never get bored of that. You know, I'll never get bored of seeing the Wembley arches over there, or I'll never get bored of watching Manchester City in a title race because it's what you want to see as a fan. And it's the same as the relegation thing when you're at the other end of the stick, where that's terrifying, but it's still sort of thrilling at the same time because your games mean something. So to me, as a City fan, it ain't boring, and it's terrifying, but it's exciting, and it's sort of visceral, and I like that. You know, I want to be in moments like this. So I'm not scared, really. I'm a bit anxious about the game, but scared? No, not really. We've been here before, we've trusted our team, and look, whatever happens, not that it matters what I think, but I'm sort of proud of this team anyway, because as Guardiola said a billion times, to do what they've done 3 in a row, culminate in a treble, and beat all those records, and score all those goals, and 100 points, and formidables, all those usual things that we talk about, that's absurd that we've normalised that. But to do that and still be here and still be only 1 game away really from deciding the title, it got down to the last game of the season, to be there again and in an FA Cup final against United again, that's really impressive. So the love is there either way, and I've sort of made my peace a little bit with whatever's going to happen. It'll hurt, but I'm relaxed because I trust this Manchester City side, and we should trust this Manchester City side, you know, because, you know, it's really special what this team have achieved. Now, of course, we can't deny the fact that this is a really weird game of football. The context, of course, is that Spurs and Arsenal, they hate each other. This is a massive rivalry. It got to the point where you got Spurs fans online joking about how they should, good time to test out the under-18 side. They'll play, you know, start me in goal, Big Ange says some random fans online, all this kind of stuff. Look, Spurs, as much as they want the Champions League, it's really weird for them because Villa could have done us a favour last night. Villa beat Liverpool last night. They'd be guaranteed for 4th place. But now Spurs, look, Aston Villa on 68 points, 5 points clear of Spurs. Aston Villa have to go, I think it's away to Palace. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Let me just double check that. I think it's away to Palace they've got on the last day of the season. Yeah, it is. That's a horrible game of football. Palace flying right now, playing really nice football. Palace scoring a whole bunch of goals. There's no guarantee. I think there's a good chance Villa. I think Palace, I know they're on the beach, so to speak, but I think they're going to be so up for this motivation-wise because the last game of the season they're playing good football and they want to have a say. They want to have a say because they want to be where Villa are, you know. And I think the new manager that Bayern wanted, has got the best out of Wharton, 𝙏𝙬𝙨𝙯, 𝙏𝙬𝙨, people like that. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is no guarantee. So Villa basically, if they lose last day of the season, Spurs win both of their games, including us. And last day of the season for Spurs is Sheffield United away. Do you know what I mean? Like that is no guarantee whatsoever. Like that's not going to come back. Let's have a look at the table. Double check. No, they've got. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they've got us, and then finally they've got why have I got confused then? Because they've got a friendly scheduled against Newcastle on the 22nd of May. I was like, why have they got an extra game? That's really weird, Spurs. Why have you got a friendly 4 days after the season ends? That's really strange. But they've got Sheffield United last day of the season, and they're already relegated, so that's a banker for them to win. So they get a miracle tonight. They've got to beat Sheffield United, and then Villa could lose. They could get Champions League football, so we can't ignore that possibility. Having said that, look, all we've got to do is look at ourselves. We can talk about the incentive for Spurs all you want, but Man City's incentive isn't top four and hoping for a miracle against Villa. Man City's incentive is history. Man City's incentive is going down in the record books to be the only team to win 4 Premier Leagues in a row. That is a real incentive right there. And this Manchester City side recently, the form has been absolutely excellent. I mean, I'm looking at the games right now. It's my laptop there, by the way, if you wonder when that was there. I didn't realise it was in shot. Hello, laptop. 4-0 against Fulham, 5-1 against Wolves, 2-0 away at Forest, 4-0 away at Brighton. Of course, FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. We didn't lose to Madrid in either of those ties, Champions League finalists. 5-1 against Luton. You have to go all the way back to Aston Villa in like November, December for our last result. We're in phenomenal form at the moment right now. And we've got a team that's rested and fit and up for it. And when I look at the team against Fulham the other day, I don't really see any changes to that side other than maybe Ake if he's got his injury. Maybe Kyle Walker comes in. But when I look at that team and how it played the other day, 𝙄𝙬𝙨𝙯𝙬 turning into Gundogan, Diaz, excellent, Akanji, Walker probably be the back line. But then you got Kovacic and Rodri, Phil Foden, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Haaland. You play them all. You start them all again. Now, the argument could be maybe, Jack Grealish, if he's available now apparently, maybe you could argue that Jack Grealish is the right start here, given his composure. Could argue for Doku a little bit if he's going to be so open. But I think Guardiola will play the team that seems to be settled right now. It just seems to work. Could John Stones come in? Looking at the bench from the other day, you've got Stones, he'd potentially start this. I think with their pace, he'll play the slightly faster defenders. Diaz isn't a faster defender, but I don't know. I think he's going to trust Ake, Diaz. No, sorry, he'll trust 𝙄𝙬𝙨𝙯, Akanji, Diaz and Walker, I reckon. Could be Stones, but I don't know, maybe Stones actually. I'd be surprised though. I think Stones right now, I think Diaz was too good. I think Akanji's undroppable, and I think Walker's pace is inevitable against the way that Spurs attack. So I think we're going to see something like that. Pep was in great form, by the way, in the press conference. Absolutely on fire. He really was. Like, he was talking so much about how apparently it's boring and all this kind of stuff. He talked about the money. He talked about Man City saying, look, if it was all about money, United would have won every league, and then Chelsea would have won every league, and Arsenal would have won every league. But that never happened. He talked about it being about success, and basically you shouldn't piss off Guardiola is what I want to say. I was reading his quotes now. He's so focused and he's so up for it. Look, anyway, this isn't going to be a long video this morning, but I look at Spurs and look at their results. Spurs, other than beating Burnley to relegate them, they'd lost to Liverpool 4-2, Chelsea 2-0, Arsenal, Newcastle. They had lost 4 games in a row before that, and their form was really up and down. And I think they've got quite a few players missing too. They've got Timo Werner, Ben Davies, Manor Solomon, Sessegnon, Fraser Forster, Udogie. I think Richarlison's not available, and even Bissouma might not be available either. So they're not in the greatest shape in terms of physically. I'm expecting a team something like Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Emerson, and maybe Sarr, Bentancur, Kulusevski with Maddison, Brennan Johnson, and Son, obviously our chief tormentor Son. Something like that, I reckon, will work for them. And Spurs are good. They're going to be for it. I know we talk about their fans. It's going to be a weird atmosphere because their fans will definitely not want them to. I think he's twisted it back a little bit, because I know some fans won't want Arsenal to win the league, but at the same time they're playing for the Champions League, and I don't know how much that is going to tour the motivation a little bit. But I don't think it'll be raucous in there, because I don't think Spurs want Arsenal to win the league. They want the Champions League probably, I think it's like 50-50 in terms of the motivations, which is crazy. But that's football, isn't it? And I would not be surprised if, ironically, Spurs fans, if City score, are just like, they're not that bothered, which is a weird situation to be in. But I don't think Spurs as a team are going to lay over. They've got goals still. They've got a motivation. And Postecoglou is such a motivated, serious manager that he'll be getting these players behind his team entirely. They'll be well up for it. So I'm expecting tonight to be a bit of a shootout. We should have beaten in the return fixture in the league. We were the better side, obviously. Controversy towards the end. I think that was the game where the referee pulled up on the camera, wasn't it? And also, we beat him in the FA Cup, so that sort of hoodoo is away. It's gone for the last... Was it Ake? I think was it late with the goal? But either way, we can't deny that Spurs away is a horrible game of football, because there's too much there, and that's what does scare me a little bit. The narrative is there. It's Spurs to give Arsenal the lead, potentially, even though Spurs have been... It's the most Spursy thing in the world to give their rivals a league title, but also then missing out on Champions League football last day of the season. It's just too poetic. But we will see. But I trust the City side. I'm going to go for a Man City win. I'm going to say it will be 3-1. It's going to be a really impressive display. I think it's going to be powerful. I think De Bruyne is going to step up. Haaland's going to grab a couple of goals. I'm expecting, once again, us to be impressed by Diaz, Akanji, Vardial, Walker and so on, and have a really solid back line and just focus, because this is Man City and this is what we do. Anyway, let me know, of course, what you make of it. I'll be do my watch long on TIFO again later. Link in the description below. Use the referral code Stephen, and I'll see you there. It's good fun over there. Come on, you Blues.